Alrighty, so it's been way too long. So today I'm going to be working on Judas. So stay tuned. Alright, so quick recap. Some of you will remember that the last time I took this car out, it developed what sounds like a rod knob. So the goal for today is to pull out this motor, and when I have it out, I'm going to begin the diagnosis of or parts inspection, whatever it is you want to call it. So my plan today is to take off all of this. I believe we can pull everything out. So take off intercooler pipes, disconnect power steering, radiator, harness and everything, and hopefully pull out the motor and maybe the transmission along with it. I haven't decided if I'm going to leave that in there or I'm going to pull out everything, but let's get cracking. Okay, so one issue, I did not see it myself, but someone at the track pointed it out the last time I was here, was this guy. I'm not sure if my camera is even angled properly, but right here in the compressor housing, loads of oil. And that was just a truck passing here. So loads of oil, and also in here the charge piping from the compressor outlet, loads of oil. So this turbo, I am not sure, I'm suspecting it's blown. It is a Garrett GT, it's a genuine Garrett GT 2871. I'm not sure if it's ball bearing or not, but lots of oil in there, so I'm suspecting the turbo is blown. If it does turn out to be blown, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go ahead and rebuild that, or if I am just going to go ahead and get one of those Wuhan GT28 knockoffs. Right, so we'll see. Hopefully it's just residue oil, but we'll see. Also, I have a podcast running there, so that's what I do when I usually work on cars. I have a podcast. Currently, I think I have the Do It Before Leaving podcast with Ben Stradler, however it is he pronounces his last name, from EFI University. Okay, so at this point, got the hood off, obviously, and pretty much have everything disconnected. Yeah, so we should be ready to pull out the engine. Again, get a view at the oil in the turbo, lots of oil, so that needs to be investigated. My plan is to leave the gearbox inside and then just pull out the engine and take it from there. Right, so I'm gonna get to that and pick up with some more progress. Okay, and after a couple more minutes, we have the engine out. Engine bay is empty, and the more I tamper with this harness, the more I absolutely hate it. It's garbage, absolute garbage. All right, so from the initial inspection, again, don't have any rods sticking out of the block. We can see the spec stage 3, I believe, clutch, and for the most part everything is looking good. If you didn't know any better, you'd think this was a healthy motor. Alright, so I'm going to pull it out. I am not sure if I am going to go ahead and open up the motor today. Again, oil from a oily rope. Okay, you can see the oil here in the compressor cover. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and open it up today. Alrighty guys, so it's been a few weeks since I pulled the engine out, and I have not touched it at all. It's right here on the Discover here. Let me show you what I've been up to. So those of you, I guess those of you who are really observant would notice a few things. Now I'm under my house, so that has been a project for the last few weeks. Pretty much just been excavating this general area, leveling out everything, and pretty much trying to make a driveway, trying to do guttering, culvert right here. So this is the house, and just basically just been doing that stuff. And wife had just planted the flowers, but that is why we have not been able to get to the engine. So that's the plan for today. Well, that's what I think anyway. So today I am going to be opening up Judas's engine. Those of you recall, would have already mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but the engine is here. Right? Judas is no longer by my mom. It's up on the hill here. Hopefully you guys can see it. And the plan is to get it here. But for now, we're gonna be opening up the engine. So let's get cracking. So it's the following day, no longer dealing with poor lighting. So recap, I pretty much have the cams removed, bottom pan off, struggling to remove the head bolts with my 1/2 inch ratchet. I'm awaiting a 1/2 inch power handle. But let's look at this bottom pan again. I'm not sure if the last clip, this is not exactly what you want to find in your bottom pan. So you can see bearing material in there. So we definitely have at least one bearing which is damaged. The wife took the opportunity. She has, see what she has going on there. She has 1.75 liters of alcohol, Sr20de's finest bounty rum. And she has a cold pot going with, what's in there, Zena? Okay, I think she has some pork, corn, and roasted sweet potatoes. Right, so we'll see how this day plays out. If I don't end up working on the motor, I'll still end up having a good time. That's fine. So it'll be a good day regardless. So Meldon heard I was building an alcohol motor, so he decided to to come by, powered by Sr20de's finest. So Sr20de distillers, if you're watching this, we're looking for sponsors. We'd love to work with you guys. Okay, and the head is off now after much time wasting. So bit of advice, guys, read the service manual if you ever want to open a motor. This is my first time opening an Sr20 and I'm yet to look at a service manual. This would have gone a lot quicker if I had just read the service manual. Alright, so for now the piston tops are looking good, no sign of detonation or anything, pretty clean. Cylinder 1 has some oil contamination. Again, I'm not sure if that's me spilling it over or if it has some bad rings to begin with. But on to the next stage. We're gonna pull out the pistons now. Oh yeah.
No, not yet, mine.
Okay. So we have, what we have on the grill now, Zena?
Pork
and the sweet potato to stay hot.
Roasted sweet potatoes?
Yes.
And barbecued pork, what's that, pork tail?
That's mine. Seriously?
And again, guys, this video is
No, give me my
this video is sponsored by Bounty Rum, Sr20de's finest, the spirit of Sr20de.
That's my one.
Bounty, do they sponsor you?
They're gonna learn today.
Well, that is my one.
And we have number 1 out, and we see very minimal damage. Bearing surface, one second, prop this up. Bearing surface does look a little bit rough, not enough to catch a nail on, but bearing definitely took some damage. So we're gonna move on to the others. Okay, so we have a number 4 Number 4 is about the same, but again, scratches look a little bit deeper, but still cannot catch a fingernail on them. So 1 and 4 are looking just about the same. That's minor scratches. Okay, and we have rod number 3. So we have a bit of discoloration going on here. And this is the bearing, bottom half, top half. So we can see this bearing is completely gone. This is the flaky material we saw in the bottom pan. But the journals are looking really good. So Honda needs to take a page out of Nissan's crankshaft construction 101. Perfectly fine, absolutely spotless. Right, so we're gonna move on to number 3 and see if we get lucky, and it's just a matter of throwing in some bearings in there. Okay, and I immediately regretted the last clip. So okay, this one is a first for me. So as you can see here, we have the rod is damaged. The rod is scuffed really bad. I almost say damage beyond repair. Well, I won't even bother repairing this rod. It's a little harder than the rest. But the funny thing is, there was absolutely no bearing material whatsoever. I cannot say that the bearing disintegrated or got chewed up, and then, because there is very little bearing material. I dare say this bearing material is from number 2, but number 3, top and bottom, had absolutely no bearing, none whatsoever. It's not anywhere in there, it's not in the bottom pan, so I don't know. As you can see here, the journal is pretty much okay. Let me get the scope working properly. The journal is pretty much damaged. I'm suspecting it may be polished, maybe able to be polished, but I'm just gonna throw in a new crank, well, a new to me crank in there, and some new rods. But very interesting. And continuing with the dissection, we have the oil pump off, and for the most part it spins freely. Seem to be broken. So yeah, this one is turning out to be super weird. So next up, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the crank and pretty much prep this block for a replacement crankshaft and rods. Okay, so officially have the crank out. So from the inspection of the bearings, number 1 has a big scuff on it because I actually accidentally dropped the crankshaft on there. But every single bearing, the mains anyways, has damage, and 1 and 2, I guess it's deep enough that I can catch a fingernail on it. 3 seems okay, 4 seems okay, and 5. Same thing for here. So at this point now, pretty much I have everything disassembled, and coming over here, I found the missing bearing. So number 3, you can look right. Let's see if I can turn this for you guys. In here, you can see the bearing is pretty much fused to the journal. So that bearing took some serious beating. Alright, so this crank is pretty much dead weight now. So next up, I have the Sr20VE up there, and I also have the built motor which I inherited with that car. So I'm not sure which route I want to go. I need to disassemble one of them to take the crank and rods from it and put it in there. Right, so it's gonna, wife is preparing something to eat now from her grill, so I'm gonna pick up after lunch. Okay, so it's later in the day, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up the second motor. It's a Sr20VE. So my plan is to use the rods and the crank from this to put into my rear-wheel drive motor. It would be sweet if I could just use the entire bottom end, but the compression would probably be too high. And the thing is that I believe the block casting is different from the frontal drive. This is the frontal drive motor and the rear-wheel drive Sr20. So I'm gonna try to pull the crank and the rods from this one. I'm gonna just put the head away in storage. May use this the future. Yeah, so let's cut to that. And nothing ever goes according to plan. So apparently I either don't have the right sockets, not sure you can see in there, the right Allen socket thingy for this, or somebody ringed off every single bolt in the Sr20det, every single one. All right, let's see where we're gonna end up with this one. Okay, so it's been about a week now since I recorded that last clip. It's amazing how time just flies by when you, I guess when, that's how life works, right? So let's bring you guys up to speed. So Judas is finally home, so it's not on the hill anymore, it's right here under the house. Sr20 VE motor, where I ended the last clip, I believe. So I took out the crank, got the crank out of here, could not get the rods out. Again, you need to, the rod's gonna drop through the bottom, the pistons will get stuck at the bottom of the bore, so I need to figure out the way to remove the head. But I think right now I'm just gonna put this on the back burner, and since I already got the crank out of it, I really wanted to use the rods, but it is what it is. I picked up the built motor from, well, where I had it in storage by Mike's house. So that is the plan, to take this one off of there and to put this one on there. I'm really hoping that the block surface just needs a decking, shave, don't know what you want to call it. I really hope that's all it needs, and I can just use this complete bottom end, well, this entire engine, just throw in a new gasket, check bearings, of course, since we're already in there. But if not, I am going to just mix and match some parts. Probably going to use the old block, first block right there, which came out of the car, and probably use the internal from there. I cannot use the pistons from this one since this has been bored out to 87 millimeters and this one is still 86. So I don't know, I'm really hoping that I can just use this complete engine like I said, and that's essentially going to wrap it up. So it was spread out over weeks, so hopefully I did a good job compiling all of this. And the next step is, I guess we're gonna probably make another video when we throw in the engine back together in Judas, and hopefully we get it to start up really quick, well, the near future. So I think I may need a head gasket. I'm trying to hold off on buying the head gasket since I'm not sure which block I'm going to end up using, if it's the 86 or the 87, so the gasket would be different, so hence why I'm holding off on buying parts just yet, and the bearings, etc. So I'm gonna wrap this up. This is probably really long because it's a couple weeks of videos like I said. So till next time guys, stay safe and catch you guys on the next one.